Hello and welcome here to our webinar of today. I'm really happy that you been here with us. So we want to be efficient and now start with the webinar. So today's topic is my year with my PV system from Fronius. Today I'm happy to introduce you in what my wife and I have done to our house and how our energy system looks like, and also what the outcome was. Today the webinar is also we have a chat expert, Maximilian Schett, sitting on the back side of this camera and will answer every question you have regarding this topic and our solutions. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask them. If it's a personal question, I will answer them later on during the chat. I'm Robert Reinbrech, also here at Fronius since several years. I'm happy to lead you today to this webinar, which have a little bit of, I would say, place in my heart. So on the right side, you see my house at home, and also I would say my most loved investment I did to it. So that's the PV system on the roof. So the agenda of today's webinar will be on the one side, the energy consumption of our household, the introduction of the Fronius solution, and at the end of the day, for sure, that's the reason why we have a PV system at all, the savings we have. So let me introduce you now to the house, so that you get a build from the energy consumption and how you can relate this data you see today to yourself. So I summed up the biggest consumers and how many square meters we have. We will see here. So the house is originally built 1927. It's, I would say, a house with really massive bricks, and we did a general refurbishment in 2021. So we reduced the heating demand from 234 kilowatt hours per square meter per year to 54. So that was one of our goals, to save at least as much material of the existing building as possible. So that was our goal, and I think we did quite good. So to do this, and also to get to the needed energy values for room heating, we also put in 18 centimeters of rock wool insulation. So that's the thing we did to it. We replaced the windows to 3-sheeted windows, and also on the first floor to the roof, we also insulated the door. So it's, I would say, standard when it comes to a renovation here in Austria to do it like this. One of my biggest consumer in the household is my heat pump. So it's a 9 kilowatt thermal heat pump with a maximum electrical power of 3 kilowatts electrical power. So that's my biggest consumer. We have a 200-liter hot water storage, also supplied from the heat pump or from the own pilot. I will later on give you here more details. To be efficient, also to bringing the heat into the rooms, we have built in underfloor heating, and we have one small electric car. That's my car, where I travel the nearly 60 kilometers one direction to work and back. So on a working day, more than 100 kilometers are driven. Later on, you will see how this looks like in the energy flows. So I hope that describes my house a little bit, so that you can relate. Okay, I have the double of square meters, so maybe I have the double of energy consumption. So only to bring the values on the next slides a little bit into relation to your situation. The energy consumption. I brought up here all the diagrams you see here are directly from Solar.web. So that's also our monitoring platform for our PV solutions. That's a really great thing. You will see it on the next slide, because all the needed data which are of interest for you at least they are of interest for me, are displayed there, and you're only a few clicks away from the answer to the question you ask yourself, if it is around energy consumption of your household. So our power consumption, our electrical consumption was 8,350 kilowatt hours, included for sure also the heating for the heat pump. The electricity price last year, we had in the Ukraine the war raising up, so the energy prices exploded in 2022. So and now from looking back to the past, it was an error on my side that I choose a really expensive energy tariff, but I wanted a fixed energy price so that I'm on the safe side. At the end of the day, it was really, really expensive, and that's also an outcome for me. Maybe look at energy suppliers which are flexible in both directions, also when the energy prices go down again. But in this scenario last year, it was nearly 55 cents of 54 cents per kilowatt hours. So the general costs of my system at home would be 4,401 euro for room heating, for all the electric consumers and the small electric car. On the car, I also have to do a little disclaimer. We can refill it here at work during the working hours. So that's the reason why on the yearly consumption, you will see it later, it doesn't play the biggest role, but only to show it to you. So you see also the energy consumption is really high in the winter months, goes down then here in the summer months, and also up in the winter months again. It's really typical for an Austrian household with a heat pump. Why? Because we have cold winters, and also in the summertime we have to produce warm water or other things. So, but more details on that you will see in the next slides. I will also introduce now the PV system. The household is already explained. So the PV system you see here is the biggest part with 5.8 kilowatt peaks is on the east with around 33 degrees, and I have with 20 degrees and around 3 kilowatt of power on south facing side. So that's the main PV system I had. Also here I have in mind to enlarge it even more, but if this is needed, you will also see in the next slide. But that's 21 modules we are talking about, so that's the size of the PV system. And as you see it here, it's really fits the roof quite well. So you have to search some angles on the street to see it at all. Otherwise, you wouldn't also not notice it. The rest of the solution, for sure, it's a Fronius hybrid inverter. It's the Gen 24 8 kilowatt system combined for heat water production with the own pilot with a one phase or single phase 3 kilowatt heating rod. That's in the cellar at home. We have an e-mobility solution with the Watt Pilot Go with 11 kilowatts. And the storage solution, on the graphs you will see it, we installed it in last March. So it's from BYD, the HVM 13.8 kilowatt hour battery. Here you see a picture how I install it. So at the moment I have the PV point at home and also with the PV point Comfort installed, so that will also be available the next time. So this the outlet you see here is with a combined circuit interrupter and residual current detector. So I have here, if the permanent power, also if the grid is goes, then the inverter is switching automatically the PV point power here to this outlet. In the former times, I had here a manual switch. Also, this is possible, but I would say now that we have the PV point Comfort in some months available, I would say it's as no point of doing it like here with a manual switch. The automatic version will be much more comfortable. And what is the main also load here I plug in? That's my fridge. So my fridge is directly here left to the picture, and so I can be sure that this part is always, or this consumer is always supplied with electricity. The energy flows, that's the thing that gives us an insight in the performance of the PV system over the whole year. So that's also something I really want to show you. So to bring it once up here, I have all the Fronius solution listed up. In the heart of the Fronius solution, maybe I will switch here to the laser pointer so you can see it a little bit better, is the Fronius Gen 24 plus 8 kilowatt. Why the plus? Because I was really sure that I will connect storage at it. So you know there's also Fronius Gen 24 without the plus, so you can upgrade it later on. But if you're already sure that you will install a storage system, you can directly go with the plus system. Here I have a PV generator with 8.8 kilowatt peak connected to it. I have also two directions, so that's a really great, I would say, use case for this inverter. We have one big MPP input, one smaller one, and you see I also have on the east side the big PV field, and on the south side the smaller one. So it also fits it really quite well. For sure, the 8 kilowatt inverter could be even be overdimensionized up to 12 kilowatts of power. We know every Fronius inverter can have 150% of DC power connected to it on the AC ratio, but in my case, that was the roof was only fitting here 8.8 kilowatts. Okay, the next solution from Fronius we have here is the Fronius OwnPilot. The Fronius OwnPilot is also a really great solution. I would say the savings depend a little bit on the primary heating system. If you have here a heating system with oil or gas, or I would say an expensive heating solution, then it saves you even more money. But also in my scenario, I use it in the combination with the heat pump. Why? Because in the summertime, so from April to October, I didn't need the heat pump at all. So I reduced the working hours of the heat pump and making my hot water only out from the PV. That's also a really great, I would say, solution if we talk about heat water generation. The next thing is the Fronius Wattpilot. The Fronius Wattpilot allows you to charge your electrical car with surplus power if you want. You can charge it with surplus power, but with a certain kilowatt hours. That's the extreme mode. And you can charge it with the full 11 kilowatt of power if you want with the manual mode. Also, the Fronius Wattpilot here is a really great solution for my electrical car at home. Why? Because I can fastly charge my car. And you know, sometimes you are not that you not have that many kilowatt hours in your tank, and so you have something to do in the afternoon, so you can charge it really fast. And so that's really great, I would say, solution if you have a wall box at home. Also, the Go version is mobile, so you can take it with you if you travel to the holidays. You can charge it also on a standard CEE outlet, 16 amps or 32 amps. So it's a really, I would say, cool solution which helps you in many scenarios. And for sure, the Fronius smart meter is also something which is needed. On this picture, I only show you one, but in the meantime, I also have one for my heating system. So the heat pump is now also measured here with the Fronius smart meter to get all the energy flows now in the system and can be analyzed later. And what's still needed is the utility meter. That's then for the billing purpose for the grid supply. Okay, now we go to the energy flows. I searched a little to a day where we have all energy flows visible. So I will explain it step by step. So here the outline I show you here is the production of the PV system. Then the blue line is your consumption. You see that was November, and also in November it was quite warm outside because the heat pump hasn't run. Otherwise it would be at around 1 kilowatt peak. Then we see the yellow area. The yellow area is where the production of the PV system can be supplied or can supply the consumption. So the yellow area is the consumption that is supplied by the PV. So that's the really great thing. So you see here I have really all important suppliers or consumers supplied here with the PV already. The green area is the storage. So the storage can be is normally set up with the highest priority. So you see the first kilowatt hours of surplus are charged in the storage, and here the green line is the storage SOC, so the state of charge. And so you see at the end of the day it was fully charged. The red one is then the own pallet, so that's the energy used for heating, and the red line here is the temperature of the 200-liter water tank. And so you also see here all relevant information. The purple field here is then the electric car. In this scenario, on this day, I arrived at this time, so that is the reason why it started charging so late. And what is here, I would say, the really great thing, that you can set up the priorities in the Fronius PV solution as you want. You can set up your electric car with the highest priority, or you can set up the hot water production. So it depends on your needs, what where the first kilowatt hours have to go. So that's also really great to see. On the next slide, you see then the production graph. Also here you see in January, this time I hadn't storage yet. So this surplus, the gray area, is fed into the grid. The purple one is supplied was supplied for my car, and the red one was heat water production, and the yellow one was where the PV production fits the consumption. And you see the production curve is growing until the summer and then declining up to the winter again. And here you see why storage is a really great add-on for your PV system, because if you compare the January and February to November and December, you see I nearly fed nothing into the grid. So I have here a really high own consumption percentage. Here you see for the overall year, the own consumption was around 57%. And so you see without the storage and without the heating solution, the own consumption would be look quite differently. So, but you see it also good on the next slide, because here I will show you the consumption. For sure, in the winter months, we have really low energy or solar yields we can use, but the consumption is really high because I have to heat my home. So you see, but also here in January, there are some, I would say, savings possible with the PV system. If we have then added the storage, you see that also the savings could be enhanced. Why? Because I fed in the winter times not really much into the grid, but I can supply my heat pump later during the night. And then you see in the summer times, there are months where I have not to buy any electricity. Like in June, it was 7 kilowatt hours I had to buy. The rest was all produced by my PV system. And how is the self-sufficiency? It's also around the 50 mark here, so 56% is the self-sufficiency rate. That means that I have covered my consumption up to 56% with my PV system. Also, that's in my experience, a great number. The savings on the other side, for sure, we also want to have some savings, because I think it's always good to do something for the environment, but it also helps you to reduce your monthly bills. It helps you in both ways. So the savings were 2,783 euros. Feed-in revenue, due to the storage system, for sure, you feed in less, but you save more on the other side. So 336 euros could be achieved here. And the overall costs at the end of the day, I had to pay was 1,994. And if we subtract now from this year, from the 1,994 euros, the feed-in revenue, we came up to a energy bill I have to pay at the end of the day of 1,658 euros. So what's the outcome here I want to show you? For sure, the Ukraine crisis is, I hope, something which comes up once in a lifetime. So maybe the energy prices will stay low again, but you never know. So 63% of my electricity price is not dependent on the energy market. So that's the good outcome for me. So I can be sure I'm not that independent on the energy prices and got here a little bit more freedom with the choose of my energy supplier. And also, if I would say for a whole house with an electric car and also with heating in the summer, the price is also quite fair. So that's, I think, great saving which could be achieved here. Okay, so I'm now at the end of the webinar. So now I will take a look here into the questions, if we already received some. See, no questions are here at the moment. So then I will go to my last words. For sure, we will be in the chat here for the next 10 minutes, so we can answer all the questions which come up, maybe until now. So what's the outcome of today's webinar? I showed you how I did, or we did, my wife and I, our house renovation. We did the PV system, or the whole solution, I would say. So I'm really proud that I had the possibility to do it, and I'm really happy that it was possible for us to reduce nearly 63% of our energy costs. That was a really great thing. Also for this year, it looks much better because the energy prices reduced dramatically to, I would say, a third of these costs. So also here for this year, it should look even better with the percentage, for sure. But also here, I would say it's a great thing that we did it. I'm really happy we did it, and I can only recommend it to anybody which search for an investment opportunity. So if you see it as an investment which saves you quite a lot of money, has a return on investment in normally around 10 years, it depends on how big the storage system is you want to build and how expensive you buy it. It's a really great solution. So I was really happy to introduce it to you. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate, send it to us in the chat. We will be here to answer you, but now I will mute myself and end the webinar for all others. So many thanks for your interest. Have a great day and see us soon. Bye.